You guys want to hear a joke?
No.
Gentlemen?
Come on.
Dang, guys, it's great to see you. Holy cow.
Welcome back, gentlemen.
We're back.
It's good to be home.
Almost like we didn't leave.
Hello. This is how we sit when we're being professional.
3 normal dudes sitting normally.
Give me a recap of how the last season ended.
Okay, so the end of season 2, Tate is kidnapped by the Beck brothers. John Dutton himself kills Malcolm Beck. Casey kills Teal Beck. Dan Jenkins, pour one out.
Cowboy left, Walker had left.
Adios, assholes.
And then we end up with getting Tate back.
Yeah, disaster averted, but
Slightly.
yeah, exactly.
There was still
The
disaster.
tensions are sort of at an all-time high, I think,
Right.
between
Okay.
Casey and Monica, whose son was suddenly pulled
Yeah,
into this
yeah.
violence.
Yeah, he's changed, man. He came back different. He's got the 1,000-yard stare.
Yeah, man, he's seen some. He's a kid, but he's seen some.
Sometimes I see him and he's on the ceiling like The Exorcist.
That's
I
pretty.
just, I gotta let him,
well,
I gotta
that'd
let
be
him
hard
heal.
to do too because we're intense for most of it.
Is that how they used to do it, Grandpa?
Just like this.
What's interesting about the way we kick off this season, using the land has always been a weapon in our show. In this episode, we return to the land as a sort of medicine to heal all of these relationships. And so we go out there, we set it up, we return to our roots. That's, that's real cowboy, that's where we came from. It's a different tone and very much so paced than the show normally runs at. And so we're gonna set with that, and I think it's gonna make everything a little bit different.
And it's also amazing because it's another way in which art imitates life, or life imitates art. Because when we shoot that stuff, we're up at Thousand Peaks, Utah.
Yeah.
We're so far. We're a little bit far from
And have
civilization.
no reception.
You know, at night we're all waddled up like it's 1.5 miles to a porta potty. Like it's an immersive acting experience. You know.
You run up there, see if you can steal some of Lloyd's kindling.
You ever
Well,
chopped wood?
I've chopped wood a couple times. He can chop wood.
You guys not remember the bonfires that I have at
I'm saying,
the
you
Angler's
can,
Lodge?
You can chop wood.
I can split wood like a mofo.
Wow, that's pretty.
Yeah, I'm quite handy with an axe.
Yeah.
I can actually throw one too. We have a throwing receiver pedestal at the base camp in Darby. Have you never noticed that?
I have noticed
That's for
that.
axe throwing.
Receiver pedestal. It's a very technical sport.
Can you chop wood?
Absolutely not.
Could you survive in
I
the
feel like
in the
I
woods?
could see you at a gym, like doing an exercise that is
Oh, okay.
simulating
That
chopping wood.
simulates
It's like a
chopping
very
wood.
heavy.
with the cables and
Yeah,
the wood choppers.
It's like the ropes. Forrie J. Smith, you don't have to call action for him to start splitting wood. That dude started splitting wood the second we got out there,
we're
and then
out
they
of
just
wood, bro.
yeah, they
Now
just
he's
kind of
making kindling.
they build the scene around him. It's
Yeah,
like, well,
cut it
Forrie's
down.
cutting some wood, so let's go over there, and I guess we'll shoot that.
Speak of the devil. How are you, Parts? You doing all right? There he is. Every morning, you guys know this, it's usually cold or wet or dark or a combination of all of it, and people are pretty uncomfortable. And you see this guy, and his face is like, we're going to work.
Just super
I'm
excited.
doing great.
It was the first season. I came on set and Kevin was like, yeah, I knew you were here. I said, yeah? Would you look at the call? No, I heard the yeehaw when you got out of the van. Yeehaw!
You get excited playing Lloyd, like still the way that you did the first time you started?
Yeah, I get excited getting to work with you guys, and you know, we're all got our little niche now.
Is there like a mechanical bull or something that I could try first? Just
Mechanical bulls are for drunk chicks at the county fair.
You've taught me so much as Jimmy sort of gets into rodeo, because Lloyd rodeoed, but also Forrie J. Smith rodeoed a lot. Will you talk a little bit about your background in rodeo and how experiences that you've had on set have related to your personal experiences?
Yeah, I was raised rodeo. My grandfather rodeoed back when they circled the cars, turned the lights on. They didn't have lights, you know, and they snubbed the horse out in the middle of the arena, and they camped. My real father is in the Canadian Cowboy Hall of Fame. I'm a product of rodeo. As a kid, I was kind of an outlaw. Rodeo, when I went behind the chutes, the juvenile your probation officer, the principals, or whoever was on you at that time, this is out of your realm. This is my world now. I use a lot of things that I learned from rodeo as an actor. I use the attitude. If you're doubtful when you get up behind the chutes, if there's negative thoughts in your mind, they're gonna come out at the wrong time, and you could get maimed or hurt bad. So you learn how to not be negative and think negative thoughts. Pray like hell and hold on.
What would you say then, rodeoing, what was the worst injury that happened to you personally? Because I remember you telling me a story about you like breaking your pelvis and like duct taping it back together because you didn't want to go to the hospital because you wanted to stay on the circuit.
You think tape can keep you in the saddle? Yeah.
So still to this day, that blows my mind. So is there anything that could possibly be worse than that?
Did you ever get that looked at medically? Or did that, we just sort of like...
Later on, they're taking some x-rays and it's like, oh, when did you break this? Or when did you break that vertebrae? A lot of, you didn't get paid if you didn't get on. Get on the bucking horse and you're not feeling the pain, you're focused. Because this one can hurt you again. So you better have your mind on it.
You know why you never met any old rodeo cowboys? Because there ain't any.
I'm old.
So you just look old, motherfucker.
You tell us the most cowboy shit you've ever seen?
Okay, here's one of the cowboys things I've ever seen. Forgot about this. At Gibbs Ranch in Texas, boss was Jimmy Riggs. Texans seem to have a problem saying Forrie, so they called me Montana. Montana, you're pretty good with that rope. We got a steer we need to catch. And the steer always came out of this thicket in the same spot. Well, but the closest I got to him was from here to that gray door. And I should have thrown my rope then, because he run off. And he ended up out in the middle of the interstate. He started up the medium, jumped my horse in the trailer. They dropped me off in between the freeways, and they drove up and got in front of him and run him back at me. Here comes this big 5-year-old steer, horns like this on him, big as the horse I'm on. And I got a rope. And the horse jumped out of his way as he went by, and I what we call half-headed him. I got one horn in his head. And people are stopping on the side of the roads taking pictures. And we got him loaded in the trailer and tied him to the front of the trailer.
That is some cowboy shit. Forrie said, asked him about dizzy bats, and he's like, I never heard of that shit. So I don't think it's a real cowboy game.
It's not really that much like fun when you're
horrible,
the person that's
let's be
doing
honest.
the dizzy.
Yeah,
you're
you can't
doing it.
fake it. Like, you can't pretend to
it,
play
yeah.
dizzy bats.
Yeah.
You run around that fucking bat, you're dizzy. You're not acting. Also, Wes Bentley, he was doing his own stunt there. He was like fully fucking falling on his face.
Well, he's athletic, and then they realize, hey, you're doing this too well.
Well, that's, his character's like in the bunkhouse. He's got to prove himself. He's got to be better, work harder, get up earlier, prove him. So he was like, I'll do anything.
Which I think made it kind of fun to kind of see that different side of him.
Jamie always had these responsibilities on the ranch from the time he was like a young man. I think it's beautiful in some ways to see Jamie like sitting with the boys and playing poker and like playing dizzy bats and sort of like just like doing all this stupid goof around bullshit that he never got to do. So it's really nice to see him get to sort of loosen up. Show us how you feel. I just think it's funny because in that sequence you rope him, he goes down hard. And that's the boss, that's our boss,
Oh, that's right, I remember. And then
rope him and he goes down hard and we're all like, what the fuck?
Yeah, like, hey, asshole. I'm like,
What else are you supposed to do?
Game where I did well, thank you. It's like I threw a strike.
What are you doing? I tried to lay it on his waist so he wouldn't go down hard.
Oh, you sure fucked that up.
I did, and he broke his knee the year before, so let's just put that on some concrete, right?
Yeah, exactly.
If we can.
That's a dangerous sequence.
Are you good?
When's my time with the rope?
This is just like therapy. Let's talk about our moms.
Okay, just some ground rules between you two. Let's try to keep it clean, keep it above the belt.
Yeah, let's head not
protect yourself at all times.
Listen, tell that to Denim's mom.
So we had this day, right? So we got to
Season 2.
Season 2, we had the cougar thing.
Okay, so just to clarify, Colby's mom, that's a cougar?
That'll be the last time you ever refer to my mom as a cougar.
She prefers Wildcat.
And that was an improvised line.
It
Season
was
2,
improv. We
it
had
was-
no idea that he was going to use any of it.
We didn't know. We were just talking shit.
Right.
As we do. And then they used that line in the edit. And then Taylor, I guess, liked it so much that he started writing that whole subplot.
Yeah, there's a whole like another layer of our relationship now where you're just completely obsessed with my mom.
Hey, bro, just try not to rope my dick or your mom's gonna be really pissed.
Give me the fucking rope.
That was funny.
And that's very strange. At this time, it was like you just went a little too far.
Yeah.
Right? Which I think that you really kind of broke through some boundaries that we had, and we never really addressed that. So I think that I was kind of maybe, I think I was kind of just a little bit like maybe holding that in, and I think that now I feel kind of comfortable as like a recap to kind of go back and talk about me feeling a little bit violated emotionally in that way.
I think that Jimmy, much like Jeff and Denim, I think that Jimmy has profound respect for Colby.
Yeah.
And I think sometimes, just like with a schoolyard crush, you might make fun of the person who you admire most to try to get their attention.
Right.
I think that Jimmy, in some ways, teases Colby because he respects him so much and respects his mother so much.
Yeah.
Just a little hair pulling that we're talking about.
And also, much like in real life, Colby could just beat Jeff's ass, you know?
Whoa.
Colby could beat Jimmy's ass, and Denim could beat Jeff's ass. And I know that. I know it deep inside
But
me.
you never felt threatened that was ever going to happen?
No, never once.
Okay.
And yet you continue with the mom jokes.
On the clock.
1, 2,
Not for a second.
3. Hey, here we go. Jump.
That's what we call karma, bitch!
Karma. Your mom is gonna be really pissed.